Hello and welcome to another episode of Todd's in My Kitchen. I'm the host, Todd Thomas, and today we are at Central Stage, which is in Grand Center, very near the fabulous Fox Theater. And I'm here with STL BarKeep's very own Pat Gioia. Pat, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
You are a mixologist, and you're going to show us a couple of cocktails. What's the first one we're going to do today?
So today we're going to do kind of a brown sugar smoked old fashioned. That's where we're going to start off with. All in all, actually a fairly simple cocktail, but very much so a show. So It's one of those where this is one of those you can definitely use to impress with gatherings and whatnot. Yeah.
I love to put on a show. So what are we going to start with?
All right. So the easy way here, we've got our 2 mixing glasses and our 2 spoons. Okay. So you've got your brown sugar syrup right down here, and you've got that measuring cup right off to your left there.
Okay.
So go ahead and use about 3/4 ounce of that. You kind of just shoot in between that half and 1 line on that particular measuring cup.
Perfect.
So go ahead and pour that right into that guy.
All right.
And then I'll let you finish this one up, and then I'll make mine. But go ahead and switch to that bourbon that's down there below you.
This one?
Yep. And we're going to use 2 ounces of that.
Okay. Bam.
All right. So I'll take the reins from here and go ahead and get mine set up.
Okay.
So the reason we're starting with the, may I steal that? Thank you.
I was smelling it.
Yeah, you're all good.
Bourbon.
So the reason we start with the simple syrup is because you always want to start with your cheaper ingredients. Because if you screw this up, well, you don't want to waste whiskey. So we start with that, and then we go to whiskey, and we'll finish with these mole bitters. We'll give it a nice little chocolatey note while we're making these. So go ahead and take your bottle of bitters there.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and put, let's see here. That's a little short for me. Let's see how you come out. Yeah, so we'll do about 2 of those into here.
Can you do too much bitters?
In my opinion, yes, but at the same time, I like heavy bitters, so it's a personal opinion on that one. Some people like a little less, some people like a little more. We kind of just shop the middle line here.
I can smell it right now, that chocolate's coming.
Yep, pops right out immediately.
Yes.
All right, so from here, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. Sorry, flinging ice around. All right, we'll go ahead and just fill that guy up with ice. I'll trade that to you for the same. And just a nice good spoonful. You wanna make sure all your liquor's covered and everything like that when we're doing this.
Okay.
So from here, grab your spoon. And this is a fun little technique I'll try and teach you here.
Okay.
So it's a little finger roll for stirring where you keep the outside of the spoon on the outside of the glass. Now don't feel bad if you don't get this right on your first try. I've been doing this for about 20 years, so here goes where I'm at. So we're gonna stir this up for about 20 to 25 seconds. That's to create chilling and dilution. So what we're doing is we're opening up the whiskey, we're opening up the sugars and the bitters. And
can we sing while we do it?
You could sing if you want to do it.
Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Now you're a much better stir than me. I mean, your ice is melting.
Yeah.
My ice is still kind of.
Well, don't feel too bad. Give yourself a little bit extra time there.
Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, you're in a good spot now. I think you had more ice than me
What do you call this besides just a long spoon?
We just call them bar spoons. There is a technical name for it, but God help me if I could remember that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right, so from here, we're pretty much there as far as the cocktail itself is made.
Okay.
But here we'll go ahead and take our nice little strainers.
Okay.
If you don't have one of these, with you at home or wherever you're making these, don't feel bad. If you're making it for yourself, stick your finger in it. It's okay. Just go ahead and pour it over like so.
Now, talk about this special ice block you have in there.
So we've just got some nice ice cubes here. They're a clarified ice. It's kind of a process to make them, so we actually outsource that. But they look great with whiskey and stuff like that. You get this nice even feature around the rocks glasses themselves. But we'll go ahead and use those twists and cherries there.
Okay.
So we'll do one for me.
All right, just right across the top.
And one for you, yep.
Okay. All right.
And from here, this is where the show comes in. So I'll let you load up your box with yours, and we'll load up my box with mine.
Put the whole thing in there.
Yep.
Okay.
So just go ahead and stick it all the way in.
All right.
Lid should jut right across it.
All right.
And this part, while a little bit interesting, we're going to get the show going here. So I've got these little holes in the back of this and a smoking gun. Well, it's trying to take it with it, but we'll figure that out in a second.
I'll hold it like that.
Yeah. So I've got a nice little torch here and a nice little smoking gun, but you can do this a lot of different ways. All right, so as you can see, it fills up pretty darn quick.
Now, is this something that, as these drinks are becoming more popular, you're able to get pretty easy at a store or online if you want to do these at home?
Well, so as far as doing this at home, the only hiccup you might find is something to smoke it in. But honestly, like a shoebox would work. Like cut a hole in a shoebox and you can put the lid on and it would do the exact same job as what we're doing right here. You may want to go with something like maybe a plastic box or something you can reuse more than that, but to give you an opinion, a shoebox would work just fine.
Okay. So how long do you let that sit in there?
Well, we don't have to let it long. It's one of those things where it's more about the way you want the smoke to be. I give it about 10 count, so we're right about there right now. So go ahead and like stick your finger over the top here. You'll feel that little plastic part, and just go ahead and give it a nice pull.
Voila.
And you guys will get to see the show here as it starts to cascade out of these.
See, it's just coming down and out the bottom.
Yeah, it'll just kind of drop out. It's a nice little show, something to impress your friends with.
And so when you're serving this here at the bar, you just hand that to the customer?
Usually I hand it right to the patron, and like let them pull their drink out of there, because it's a fairly snug box, but it also keeps the smoke fairly concise. But we'll just go ahead and lead them to us.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and just pull them out ourselves. And yep, mine's doing it. Looks like yours is a little bit too, where the smoke just kind of floats right in there.
And again, this is called a brown sugar?
Brown sugar smoked old fashioned. So we use a brown sugar syrup, Mole bitters, and the choice of whiskey today was Maker's Mark.
Wow, Pat, that's amazing. So can we have a little sample before we go to break?
I'd wildly recommend that.
Okay, all right. Let's do a toast.
Prost.
Thank you. Oh, that's really good. We're going to come back and make another drink here in a moment, but first, we're going to take a break on Todd's in My Kitchen. Welcome back to Todd's in My Kitchen. Before we left, we had just made this wonderful brown sugar smoked old fashioned. We're with Pat Gioia, who's with STL BarKeep, and we are at Central Stage, which is just right at Grand Center, kind of near the fabulous Fox. And he's going to take us to another drink here, but I first want to tell you that this is delicious. I just can't say enough great things about this.
Thanks, no worries, yeah.
Smoked old fashioned. So what's our next drink?
All right, so we're going to do a savory winter bee's knees. So the classic bee's knees cocktail is sugar, lemon, gin. This one we're using, honey, lemon, and gin. Okay. We're going to use a rosemary honey syrup in this, so we're going to add a nice herbal note to it. We're going to use these very savory bitters as well. And we're going to garnish it with a little bit of rosemary, but it's a nice shaken cocktail. It's still pretty light overall, but it does, present some of the, we could call them more winter-forward flavors, so it's not so much of a summer drink that we're trying to push into, the season.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so let's get started. All right, so go ahead and grab your shaker tins right there.
Okay.
I'd say go ahead, set them up like a so, one on one.
Okay.
All right. So from here, go ahead and grab, once again, your cheapest one, which is the honey syrup this time. So we're going to go ahead and use 1 ounce of that.
Okay.
And if you want to just hand that to me when you're done, we'll just go ahead and get these going at the same time. So behind that, go ahead and grab your lemon juice. We're going to do 1 ounce of that.
That was 1 and some change.
That's okay. And a little bit, no big deal.
Right.
And you can always adjust your proportions when you do this kind of stuff too, where if you like it a little more tart or a little more sweet, you add a little more honey or a little more lemon, or you can cut back on either or. From here, we're going to use 2 ounces of gin. We're using the Roku in this case.
Okay. Roku, is that how much of this?
So 2 ounces of that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and just put that right in there. So we've got our 1, 2, 3 ingredients in here. Excuse me.
Okay.
And then we're going to go ahead and get a nice scoop of ice. We're going to basically fill our small side with ice.
Okay.
And we'll do this together, so this way, we're not making a whole bunch of noise at the opposite times. So we got a nice full thing there. So go ahead and take this guy, plop him right in there, give it a smack because you wanted that to stay on there. Now here's a thing I recommend highly.
Okay.
2 hands.
Okay.
Because if we don't, it's going behind us and it's a lot to clean.
All right. Shake it off, shake it off. You like Taylor Swift?
A little bit.
I don't.
I appreciate Taylor. I'm not necessarily a huge fan. All right, so about 25 to 30 seconds of this, and I know it seems excessive, but the same reason before. We're just trying to get the dilution and the chilling together. So as we see this little bit of frost forming on here, we're in a happy place.
All right.
So take the top off, just kind of wiggle it off.
Okay.
Set that next to it.
All right.
Got our strainer.
Okay.
Now, we chilled our glasses ahead of time to hopefully keep the cocktail a little colder, a little longer.
What kind of glass do you call that?
This is a coupe glass, but you can use a martini glass, you can use a rocks glass, you can put it on ice. It doesn't matter, it's just how you want to drink it.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and pour these in.
Savory winter bee's knees.
So from here,
Right.
we're going to add a little bit of these, and I'll just go ahead and hit both of them real quick.
Okay. And what do we have there?
So this is a savory bitter called Scarborough Bitters, and it contains more of the flavors we're already talking about. It's got rosemary, it's thyme, it's sage. It's think of it almost as a Thanksgiving dinner in a bitters bottle.
Okay.
So from here, just a couple drops, and you'll
It
notice
just kind of separates the middle.
yeah,
there.
kind of just separates in the middle there. And from here, we're going to garnish them up. So we
Okay.
got our little sprigs of rosemary.
All right.
So we got nice little clothespins on them. I don't know if you can really see them, but you kind of just pin that to the side.
I may have just broke my clothespin.
Well, you may have, but let's see if I can get that back to life real quick, because I've done that a bunch. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Go ahead and pin that on there for you.
I didn't want you to fire me on my first day.
Nah, no need for that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set these here like a so. And here's where the show comes in a little bit as well. So I may have mentioned I like to play with fire in the smoke drink
Well, we noticed
already.
that on the first drink.
Yeah, so from here, we're just going to go ahead and hit these torches on here again. So you'll notice that the rosemary itself kind of wakes up. You'll see them kind of spreading out.
Right.
Since it's a coniferous plant, fire actually activates a lot of the flavor in it.
So what's that going to do to the drink, though? Or is it just going to kind
This
of...
is more of for show, but it also is the aromatic. So think about it like this. You see the drink with your eyes, it's appealing automatically there, and then you smell the drink with your nose, and then you taste it with your mouth. So right now, if you want to kind of just pull it in, you'll smell that rosemary char out. Yep. It's got a nice little showing to that.
Okay.
So they're going to smell it.
All right.
They're going to see it, and then we're going to taste it.
And Pat, this is safe to serve like that. That's not going to catch anyone on fire or anything, right? Because I'm all about the safety.
No, I mean, it really shouldn't catch anybody on fire, but I mean, know your group. You know, if you've got a bunch of squirrely folks around,
Right.
maybe don't give them the flaming piece
All
of
right,
rosemary.
so if someone's going to drink that, and maybe I'll try, do you just kind of go to the side there?
Yeah,
So-
that's exactly what you do. Just a nice little sip on the side, yeah.
Oh, and you do get that smell from that right there. Oh, wait, this is... It's very good. If people want to find out more about STL BarKeep and what you guys do, how would they find out?
Website's the first one, stlbarkeep.com. And then on the social media, Instagram in particular, you can find us at barkeep.us. We answer all sorts of questions from there. Excuse me, I think I got a little bit in my mustache.
That's all right.
And you can contact us through the socials or our email, and we'll get right back to you as quick as we can, yeah.
Well, Pat, I really enjoyed making these two drinks. They are delicious. I hope that you at home might try this as well. We've showed you how to do it. The ingredients and the recipe is on there as well. Pat Gioia, I'm Todd Thomas, and
Todd's in my kitchen.